Hi everyone, this is Noah Sandler from Mtgo Academy, and I'm going to be doing a Modern Masters 2 draft today, an 8-4, so let's get in queue. I've actually played quite a bit of this format. I went to Grand Prix Vegas and tested pretty extensively beforehand. Did a bunch of practice sealeds and drafts, and I was able to win a trial, like a Modern Masters sealed trials, like single elimination. You have to win all 5 of your matches to get 2 buys and a sleeping special to the GP, and I was able to win that. And went to the GP, opened up a great sealed pool, 5 color, all the fixing, removal that I could want. Had a couple bombs, mirror entity, profane command, and went 8-1 on day 1. Day 2, drafted a really powerful red-green deck with 2 overwhelming stampedes, Banefire, Thunderblast. The deck was unreal. 3-0'd my first pod. Second draft, drafted like a blue, green, black, splash white kind of control deck. A lot of 2-for-1s removal with Ant Queen and Overwhelming Stampede. And won my first match, got up to 12-1, where I needed to win one of the next 2 to make top 8. And get a Pro Tour qualification, but I lost the next 2. Faced Ben Stark, had a close match against his green-white tokens deck, and then the last match was featured on coverage against Aaron Lewis, who ended up taking down the Grand Prix. He got turn 4 Prime Evil Titan against me, 1 game, into a 14-14 Apocalypse Hydra. And game 3, he got another prime time. I killed it, but then he played Artisan at Kozilek to get it back. So that crushed my dreams. Ended up 12-3 and got 20th place. But still, really fun weekend. Had a blast. Met a lot of people I hadn't talked to in a while. And yeah, I was very happy with my performance. So I might talk about that more in a bit, but it's time to start the draft. And this pack is terrible. Narcolepsy is the splashable removal, and it's not a really good one. Mystic Stake is a pretty good card. It's very committing. There's a black-white Basilica. Yeah, just a really weak pack. So I think I could also maybe make an argument for Idol. It's kind of a preference pick, but I might take Snake and just see like it's the best card. But you could take Basilica also. There's a Cranial Plating here, Aquastrand Spider, Plaxcaster Frogling, Mirrorsmith. So if you took the Idol, definitely take the Plating. I think Plating is still a reasonable pick here. It is so early, but could also take Frogling or Strider and just try to force blue-green. The Frogling could potentially table if this doesn't work out. There's some good cards in this pack. And I'm not a huge fan of Affinity, but could just take the Plating and see if Affinity's open. So I think I'm going to just take the Plating as a hedge. So if I end up going to Affinity, if Affinity is really open, we have a Plating, and if green-blue is really open, I think the Frogling's actually going to end up tabling. So I'll just take the Plating here. And here, Dimir Guildmage, Hikari, and Wayfarer Bauble are the best cards. Bauble could work Affinity and the blue-green deck. Hikari is just pretty strong. It works in Spirits, but it's mostly just a 4/4 flyer for 5, which is good. You can also play it in Affinity. And Guildmage is nice. it might work in a deck with Mystic Snake, and probably won't with plating. But I think I'll take the Guild Mage and see if I can make it work with Mystic Snake, and it might just turn into a different archetype entirely. But I think that pick is pretty close and debatable. There's another Bauble here, Helium Squirter, Skyreach Manta, a couple of Rampant Growths. I think I like Bauble here, though I think Rampant Growth is also a fine pick. We want to do like blue, black, green, kind of value proliferate. But Bauble can also work well, at least sort of well, with plating in an affinity deck. So I think I take the Bauble. We got a Sphere of the Suns, Mana Leak, Vengeful Rebirth, Evolving Wilds. I think I take Sphere, which it could work with plating, could work in 5-color deck. I could potentially play all the cards I have right now, though it might be a little strange. And yeah, Scavenger Drake, some other decent stuff, but I like Sphere in this format. There's an Everflowing Chalice, Darksteel Citadel, Thoughtcast. I think I take Chalice. Things are still a little weird. Like, kind of looks like we're rampy, but it's really early. I think Chalice is powerful. I wouldn't want to take Citadel or Thoughtcast, and I'm not a big Frogmite fan. There's also a Reassembling Skeleton, which is kind of cool if we're in some kind of black tokeny sack deck. Could be interesting, but we'll take the Chalice for now. And there's Alloy Mirror, another Citadel, Bloodthrone Vampire, Restless Apparition. So this is kind of weird because, I mean, there are affinity cards for sure, but they're not the really powerful ones. And I'm not really seeing blue-green. I'm seeing some spirits, but I don't like spirits too much. So I think it's like Alloy Mirror or Citadel here. And I guess I'll take Citadel. So another Citadel, Gruul Turf, Alloy Mirror, Rune Servitor. And then we get to see what tabled from that first pack, which will help us out quite a bit. I think I'm taking the Gruul Turf, because we could be very rampy from this point. It's going to be better than Alloy Mirror. But, you know, taking another Citadel is fine. You kind of cap out at maybe 3 Citadels that you want to run in an affinity deck, because you got to cast your spells. Rune Servitor is also pretty good. Alloy Mirror, I don't think it's that good in affinity, even though it's an artifact. So I think I'm just going to hedge by taking the Turf. And here is a Dragon Soul Knight, Apostle's Blessing, Thrumming Bird, Sylvan Bounty. Thrumming Bird could be okay if the Frogling comes back, but I feel like it's probably not happening. I might just take the Dragon Soul Knight, look at 5-color. I mean, I'd love to take the bird and have the Plaxcaster next pack, but I don't think it's coming. And the Aquastrand Spider came back, but not Plaxcaster. There's also Ulamog's Crusher and Manta, so there's a lot of good stuff in this pack. I think maybe I'll take Manta. I mean, Crusher was kind of close, but Manta's an artifact. We could maybe make it work with plating. It's a little weird, but I think it's close to Crusher, and I think we're sort of 5-colory right now. And here there's Copper Carapace, Smoke Braider, I think Carapace. Seems hard to be really elementals from this point. And another Manta, okay. So it will definitely be something that's playing 2 Mantas. That's the best part of our deck so far. You could almost run Thoughtcast, and I mean, I don't know if 5-color affinity is really an archetype, but we could give it a shot. I think think right now we're probably just, standard domain. Wow, Moldrifter, Savage Twister, and Noblest of War. This is a close pick, because Savage Twister is really insane. Moldrifter is very strong too. In a deck that can cast either freely, I think Savage Twister is probably better. And I think that's where we're going to end up, having the Gruul Turf. But this is still a very close pick. I mean, in a control shell, I think being able to Wrath, like Savage Twister, is more important than the value you get from Moldrifter. But it's really, really close. I mean, if there's some way we'd end up in just like blue-white affinity and not play Twister, I think Moldrifter definitely, we would not want to miss up on a Moldrifter. We've got the Mantas, the Knight, Sphere, Bauble, Chalice, Gruul Turf. I think we're just 5-color, so a really close pick, but I think Savage Twister is actually better than Moldrifter. We've got Azorius Chancery here, not a very good pack. Glenok Idol if we were going to be, aggro affinity, but I think we'll take Chancery and focus on 5-color. Mtgo Riders, LG Gariol, Tribal Flames, Sylvan Bounty. I think it is Tribal Flames. It's not always the best with bounce lands. Let's cut the Citadel. Probably cut the Plating and Carapace. And Mtgo Riders can be better if you're typically getting flames up to 5. If you're getting domain, I'd rather have a 5/5 than 5 damage usually for this type of deck. But this early, I think I'll take the flames. There's Tezzeret's Gambit, which is nice with the Mantas. Another Dimir Guildmage, Narcolepsy, Sunlance, Fiery Fall. So I do like Gambit. We've got Chalice, Sphere, and 2 Mantas right now that we have to proliferate for, and drawing cards is good. There's also the second Guildmage, and it's not too big on Narcolepsy. I like Fiery Fall better. I think I'm going to take the Gambit. It seems cool here. Maybe we could pick up some more proliferate stuff. There's an Electrolyze, Kozilek's Predator, Cathodian. I think we take the Electrolyze. I think it's more powerful than Predator, and we should be able to cast it. So, I think the draft's going alright. Basically, I think the format is about either getting in on a severely underdrafted archetype, where just no one else at the table is taking it. We'll take the Garrison here. And then just having like the nut version of that archetype, or just taking all the powerful cards that you see and taking enough fixing and finding a way to get them into your deck. And that's what I typically like to draft. I don't like sticking myself into an archetype typically and trying to get synergy cards, because I feel like the individual card power level of the cards in this format is really high, and I think synergy is a bit overrated in this format. So we've got a Gouger, Rampant Growth, Evolving Wilds. If we have enough early green, Rampant Growth will be the pick. It does require us to be more base green, and otherwise Evolving Wilds also helps us with Domain. And we don't have any green other than Twister right now, so I think I'm just going to take the Wilds, but it's also a close pick. And here's a Rampant Growth. We'll take it's a late Stormblood Berserker. I hate the Minotaurs, I think. Could also maybe play it. And Reassembling Skeleton over Vines, I think. I think Shrivel over Bounty or Plummet. That's kind of close. We have the Electrolyze and Savage Twister, helps us a little bit against tokens currently. Plummet's a nice sideboard card, and Bounty can be pretty good. I like being able to randomly gain life as well. Take Kavu Permark, which is nice. Karplusan Strider is a decent sideboard card. Maybe main deck. And we might get the Mystic Snake in the main. Got a Plummet for board and a Fire Slinger. So it doesn't look like people are in the red-black Bloodthirst archetype, which I think is one of the better synergy archetypes in the format. I think red-green beats and red-black Bloodthirst, aggro red decks I think are really good. So there's a Splinter Twin. Let me check how much that's worth. It's worth about 4, so that's borderline if you have to take it or not. The card for us would be a Gruul Turf, which isn't too exciting. But yeah, Splinter Twin doesn't do anything in our deck. So let's see, we've got, well, it'll be our 4th bounce land. That's kind of a lot if we're going to be domaining, so I don't think we actually want it too much. And the Riders is also a little bit iffy with all the bounce lands, so I think I am just going to rare draft. So this is a 25 ticket draft. I'm not super excited to take a 4 ticket card. It's no foil Tarmogoyf, but I still think it's worth it over cards that I'm not that excited to play. So yeah, we'll take a Burst Lightning here over Pillory, Rootkin, Soul Eater. Burst Lightning, yeah, one of the best commons in the set, if not the best. I think it's actually the best common. Nameless Inversion has a synergy with the Spirits decks, but I'm not a big fan of Spirits decks, so I don't give it too much extra value for that. I think Burst Lightning is just a lot more flexible. Be able to deal 4 to your opponent's face is really nice. So we got a Spite Bellows, Nest Invader, Soul Eater. So Bellows might be a little hard to use. Might just take Nest Invader. Well, it's kind of nice for 6 mana, I guess. Just like actually gives you a 2-for-1 on defense. Nest Invader kind of just gives us a 2-2, get an extra mana, but we don't have too much to do with the extra mana, so I'll just take Bellows. There's an Artisan Kozilek, Nameless Inversion, Spider, Turf, Sunlance, Agony Warp, a lot of good stuff here. We've got a good amount of ramp. Artisan's a little awkward with stuff like Mantas, but we have a Chalice too, yeah. I think we need a better win condition for this deck. I think we're a bit short on them, so I'd rather have just like a big fatty than a good removal spell at this point. So we'll take the Artisan. Otherwise, Inversion's a fine pick. And Rampant Growth. Really not a fan of Drooling Broodian. This 6 mana, 3 toughness creature is just too slow. So we'll take Rampant Growth here. Kozilek's Predator seems good, works really well with Artisan, Kozilek, passing up a Tribal Flames. And I think we'll take a Tribal Flames here over Sylvan Bounty, second Shrivel, Vines. And we'll take another Primarch here over Flash Freeze Repeal. Here there's Flamekin, Macro-Riders, Sundering Vitae. I think this is our first artifact enchantment destruction. I think that's kind of important to have access to. So I think I take the Vitae, but Macro-Riders would be fine. Flamekin lets you cast Artisan, but I don't think would be worth a slot. So we'll take the Vitae. And I'll just hate, well, I guess I'll take Squirter. It's possible we'd want to play it. I feel like Shrivel is actually an okay main deck card, but we're not going to have that much black. We might just run 1 swamp for Domain. So it's going to be hard to cast early. Take a Smash for board. You want as many as you can get of artifact removal spells against Affinity. And I think you definitely want to have at least one in your pool somewhere. And I also think that stuff like Tarashi's Grasp is okay to main. I don't think it's necessary in draft. I think it's pretty important in sealed at least. Yeah, this deck ended up alright. Could really have used some bombs. We got that Savage Twister, but yeah, there's no like rare mythic cards, which, you know, considering we're 5 colors, we could play anything we saw, is a little bit surprising. So the Agony Warp makes us a little more invested into black. I could maybe fit the Mystic Snake in. Novigen Sages is interesting, but probably not worth running. Like, lets you draw cards off of your Manta. Okay, I might want to run a Strider. Just another reasonable blocker. I think having like Hill Giant type cards, it helps out your removal, so we don't have to burn Tribal Flames on random 2/2s, and can wait until they have more value later. I mean, the Snake will be a little hard to cast, but I think the deck could use a little bit more power, so I would definitely consider it. Splinter Twin with Mystic Snake, it's kind of cool. Splinter Twin with Spite Bellows is kind of cool, but that's like 1 toughness is a bit sketchy. It's cool with Predator. Artisan, I guess. I don't know if that's enough to play it. I might just get the Vitae in. I'm actually a little bit interested in Sages. It's for a little more late game power. But I think we can run this. So this would be 16 lands, which I think is right with 3 bounce lands. And let's try to figure out the mana base. So we want a lot of green, good amount of blue, basically no white. We've got Garrison, Chancery, but I think we want 1 plains for, we've got the Tribal Flames and the Mantas. I don't want it for the Mantas because we already have like Chancery, Garrison, and Tribal Flames I think can be fine without having the plains. I kind of feel like we just want to leave the plains out because we do have some double colored stuff in our other colors. And Dragon Soul Knight, we've got Garrison and Chancery that can work on it, also Sphere. So I think I can get by without running a plains. So we got to put 12 lands in. We've got no black currently, so 1 or 2 black sources. For red, we've got 2. So we want maybe 3 mountains. Green, 1. Well, maybe 5 forests. So I'm thinking like 2, 3, 5, and then blue. Maybe 2 islands. islands. Maybe we need to cut the snake. That seems a little bit off from the rest of our mana. I mean, the Guild Mage could be double blue, but you can use black for it as well. So let's see what this says. I want 5 forests, 3 mountains I think is fine, 2 swamps, 3 islands. So we still have to cut 1, so 5, 6. Yeah, I think we need all that green. So I think we cut an island, cut snake, and put something else in. Oh, there's not much else I like here. Maybe Gorehorn Minotaur. 5/5 for 4 is good. Not sure about running the Shrivel. It's a little bit off color. A skeleton could be fine in some matchups. And then like heavier blue could maybe run sages. So I think I'm going to put the Minotaur in. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, it's enough red for it. So if we can randomly sneak in a point of damage, like with a Guild Mage or something, get up to 5/5 could be nice. Five, 6, 7. Yeah, I kind of feel like fitting the snake in, but it does hurt the mana base, I think. So I'll just leave it out. Alright, round 1's going to be beginning soon. Thanks for watching, I'll see you then. Alright, we're ready for round 1. I'm going to play first, and this is a good hand. We don't have the... We can't actually cast any of our spells that do anything, but we have a Savage Twister. We have a Guild Mage if we draw Island or Swamp, and Chalice will help us ramp out. So it's a hand that is well set up for the rest of the cards in our deck, but could potentially have some problems if we just draw a few basic forests in a row, for example. So lead off with this Island in case we draw a Swamp or Island gets to go turn 2 Guild Mage. Rampant growth. So I think we go for a Swamp. So you can start using the Guild Mage. We've got more red sources. But like Guild Mage can start drawing cards, so I think that's the one we're more excited about getting online. Sickle Ripper. Sphere of Suns, good draw. Let's run this out, and the Sphere. Then if it doesn't die, let's start drawing cards and let opponent put a bunch of creatures on the board, and then we'll get it back. We'll get them with the Savage Twister. So let's draw a card. Tabu Primarch. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Could Chalice for 1 here. It's a bit awkward though. Could also just Burst Lightning the Thief attack for 2. I think I like that. I mean, Savage Twister could get a lot of these guys, but this does prevent some damage to us. Lets us get in for 2 with the Guild Mage, and maybe lets us wait a little longer on the Savage Twister. And the more time we have, the more we get to put the Primarch into play. And get more turns with Guild Mage. And I don't care too much if opponents start Soul Shift chaining, like plays the 1/4 for 4. I think we just have too much advantage sitting here drawing cards and getting out our 7/7 eventually. Chimeric Mass for 4. That's really good against Savage Twister. I like Predator here. Then we have 2 mana up afterwards. I think just Predator pass. Alright, we attack for 2. Could also chalice for 1 using a sphere counter. I don't think that that's worth it. Opponent attacks with Ripper. We'll block with Predator. And the Mass. Might start jumping with the Spawn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We just want to be able to go for Primarch next turn. I think I'll take 4 for 1 turn. Okay, another Thief of Hope. And Bone Splinters on Guildmage. Protects our Primarch. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, go 9, 10. That seems pretty good. I guess maybe it's a little risky. If opponent has removal spell, we take 6. So perhaps I should have used a sphere, left up a token just to be able to chump the Mass for a turn. I think that would be correct. There's a Sickle Ripper. Oh wow, drew Vitae. That's huge. So I think we'll save the Twister, even though it's could be a little awkward. Let's attack with both of our ground creatures. Okay. Interesting opponent blocker 3/3 with the Sickle Ripper, not the 7/7. Okay, I concede. So we're facing Black-White Spirits. We got the Vitae. They had Chimeric Mass. They probably don't have too many more artifacts, so I don't think I want to put Smash in just for that. We got the Mystic Snake, Shrivel, probably not great. Maybe one of the blue cards could be okay, like Sages, but at that point, we just want the Snake. So maybe I'll cut Minotaur. Let's see, Strider's fine. Maybe I'll cut Minotaur for Snake and get an island in. Cut a mountain. I feel like the mana base isn't fully there in this iteration, but like, we have enough ways to interact. Like we can slow the game down. We have enough ramp. We can probably get the mana that we want. Point being that just because your mana isn't perfect doesn't mean you can't try to play your cards and like get a little bit greedy. And I think in this format in particular, I think being greedy is rewarded quite a bit. So here we can go wilds and grab random land into sphere. So we open up that for future turns. But we could also save the wilds to see what lands that we draw to make sure that we don't double up on something. So if we wilds for a forest and we draw a forest, we basically wasted the value of our wilds. Now, saving the wilds does mean we could get tripped up a little bit. You know, maybe we need the Savage Twister on turn 3 for some reason, or we need a Tribal Flames and we can't do it. But I think it's much more important to just make sure that we don't end up like short one of our lands for like the rest of the game, because we wasted our wilds before we saw what our draws were. So rampant growth. Now with the rampant growth, now it's a little less punishing to use the wilds. I mean, obviously we're playing sphere here. We can rampant growth next turn, and then depending on what we draw, we can growth and wilds get 2 different lands. Hopefully we draw a third, like a basic this turn. We can search for whatever we didn't get. Okay, so we want red mana and possibly green. You would prefer to get the colors that you can use the most, and also the colors that are hardest for you to just draw naturally. Like, we have a lot of forests, so if we get a forest, we're probably going to draw a forest at some point. But forests are also really useful for our deck. We don't want to have to just use Fear of the Suns every time to cast half the cards in our deck, so it makes it kind of close. I do think we want red mana, so let's get a mountain. And we have to play Evolving Wilds and pass, and I'll have to think about what we want to get with that. I mean, we're setting up a big Savage Twister here. It's really good against Spirit decks. Their best hope is that they've got a nice Soul Shift chain going to recover. Or Chimeric Mass, that's a good one. Perfect card. So yeah, I think we just go for forest. We don't have any plains, so yeah, it's that or swamp. And while forests are easier to draw, I think we just want to use the forest so many turns. We gotta grab it now. And we draw a Guild Mage. So we can play 4/4 Manta. We can Twister for 2. We can play Dragon Soul Knight and Guild Mage. We have this Artisan. A little worried about opponent like playing a Spirit, tapping down Knight, perhaps. And I don't really want to use the Sphere tokens if I don't have to, so I think I just Twister for 2. Or opponent probably knows I have it now, based on that mana. I could go Manta as a 2/2 as a 4/4. Opponent might have to play something else in mass, but I'm just going to go for Twister here. So opponent can activate mass and equip Flare Husk to it to attack for 5, or they can activate mass and cast other stuff. So play Plague Rusalka, put Husk on that, and then get in for 4 with mass. Okay, Bobble. It's kind of hard to use, but it's really good if we can. Let's get a 5/5 Manta. So we can Flames the Rusalka, play Bobble. Though we might go really low on life here. And we can't really do the 4/4 Manta. I think we gotta go Bobble, search for Swamp, Tribal Flames to Rusalka, and maybe just Guild Mage instead. Save the Flames. But I think we want the Rusalka dead so we can actually hold off the mass with Manta, so let's Flames that. Pass. Hope opponent doesn't play a moderate sized creature. I think that would be the worst thing that could happen, because then we wouldn't have a second creature to block whatever they have left over. Let's get the Swamp. This is our last use of the Sphere for the Manta. Well, that's a Ghost Council, so that'll do it. Opponent can just activate Mass, sack Ghost Council, and get a second drain in. Okay, game 3. So we saw Flare Husk. Might want to put the Smash in now. And cut the island, put another mountain in. So now we have, oh yeah, cut Mystic Snake. So now we have a backup target for the artifact removal in case if they don't draw the Chimeric Mass. And it's a really hard card for us to deal with, so we do want to have cards in against it. Play first and keep this. Excuse me. So I've got a lot of fixing and Primarch to ramp into. So we'll go with Gruul Turf. Next turn, Rampant Growth. Evolving Wilds probably. Let's start with ones we're least likely to draw, so like Swamp or Island. We'll go with Wilds here, so we don't have to come and play tap land. Next turn we can Growth and Bobble. Thief of Hope. Let's go for Island. Actually, yeah, let's go for Island. Tribal Flames. want to go for a 7/7 Primarch, I think. So we should probably kill the Thief. Agony Warp might actually be the best way to do it. Burst Lightning and Trial Flames can both hit for 4. You can maybe kill a Ghost Council. And I think we're better off sacking Bobble than using Rampant Growth, because it uses up more mana. We'll search for a mountain. Oh yeah, so there's Strider. It's pretty annoying. Savage Twister's nice. Might just have to use Flames on Strider here. Let's search for... maybe red, green... Eventually wouldn't mind multiple blue for Guild Mage. Yeah, I'll get green. And yeah, let's Flames the Strider. Opponent gets back Thief of Hope, but the Strider is gonna kind of get a 2-for-1 anyway. Like, they play their next card, we try to kill it, they Strider, protect it, get back Thief of Hope. So I think we should just do this now. And hopefully we get to play a 7/7 next turn. Or we could just draw something good. Okay, opponent plays Thief of Hope. To run out our 7/7. Oh god, Waking Nightmare. Oh, that's the worst. And Splinters. Well, that's probably game. Okay, they had everything. That's good. But yeah, we don't have that extra mana to use them. That's annoying. Considered, you know, searching for extra island, but I don't know. It's sort of unlikely. I mean, maybe it's correct. We did draw like multiple mountains afterwards. This looks to be over. Yeah, let's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we're done. So yeah, it's brutal. Yeah, didn't think our deck was anything special. And yeah, it was a good Spirits deck. Yeah, really got us with a lot of cards that were just really good against us, like the Waking Nightmare, the Chimeric Mass against Savage Twister, the Moonlight Strider, Ghost Council. So I don't like Spirits too much in this format, but I think their cards match really well against ours. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll be doing more Modern Masters 2 videos. I really like the format, so I'll be doing these videos for a while, so there'll be more to check out next week. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.